All right, so we're covering Concord characters. We are going by the characters in the game. I am not going to be using their real names. I'm going to be going from worst to best, generally speaking. I'm going to be going by class. And then I would like to say several things first. First, look out for these things that make Concord ugly. 1. Vomit colors. This yellow. This green. This bone color. It sort of sends the message of decay in the game, I would argue. Really, really ugly shapes. Notice her gun. Instead of having a simple shape, where older games would do like a simple shape and then give it some sort of like accents, right? You would, in an older like 90s game, you would have like accents or something like that. Instead, we have tons of visual noise on the design. Be on the lookout for that. Okay, so we can go into the characters now. Just as an example, compare the... So obviously it's not equitable, but ignore the graffiti. This is actually a nice design. The trash can robot, if you apply this skin and ignore the graffiti. But they intentionally destroyed a good texture job. The trash can has one of the better minimalist designs in the game. It is not a good design, but the design itself doesn't have a bunch of noise. Like, compare the amount of noise on his design to hers. I think that's one of the strong suits of the character, and then it doesn't have clashing colors. I think this is one of the more cohesive color designs that you're going to see in the game. This game will endlessly berate you or make you feel uncomfortable with the amount of discordant colors that it uses, or like nonsense clashing colors, right? You have this blue, you have this yellow, you have the bone white, you have the red, or look at her. You have bone, you have white, you have the dark, you have the green, you have the purple, you have the blue, you have the red. You probably have like a dozen colors on this character that don't need to be there, when you can get away with like 3. And then you have like random purple notes on the gun. Like they could have unified the accent colors of this stripe here, this stripe here, her lipstick, and the flag, if they wanted. But there's basically, they've made every effort to try to noisy the design. And then also, so the robot is like double the height of the average human. If you can look at it from here, this is a promotional screenshot from the game. And then this giant thing, this meat puppet, we're looking at like 3 to 4 times the mass of the human and double the height. This whatever this is not human. You have a counter-rotating minigun that looks like nonsense. It looks like a blend of a jet engine and a vacuum. This class is the tank class, by the way. And then you have a character who can repel or attract characters with the vacuum gun. I believe he is intended to knock people off ledges. This is a complete failure, other than this is a nice minimalist design ethos that the game proceeds to ignore. The Warden is the weapons range character, so the pseudo sniper. This character here is on the left, is using pistols, and then instead of reloading, you are encouraged to swap off the pistol and then use an ability to reload the pistol. You have this character who's armed with a slingshot, and then this character who's armed with a single shot rifle. I believe it's a bolt action, so it does have a magazine, but very slow fire rate. The I do like that the Space Luger is nice. But again, you see the vomit colors returning. The ugly green, the ugly like mint, the bone again. You have this ugly, it's a skin tone, but it's still the ugly green, and the bone. She actually has one of the better colors. It's not necessarily good. It's just that it isn't aggressively clashing. You do have heavy makeup that makes her look really diseased. And then you have like breadstick hair for some reason. But they've made no efforts to make the characters look good. And you have the backwards baseball cap for some reason. It's just silly, amateurish design. You have this character that looks, again, diseased. You have the diseased lump on his arm. His gun has, like, you reload it through random cracks in the gun or something. And then the other arm is growing tumors or something. This character, I believe, is some sort of assassin that's intended to be moving around the battlefield and then teleport back to an original position and continue firing. Which is weird. Because, again, the class design is very strange. So this guy is a dedicated point holder and has a shield. So he has a shield, he can heal, and he holds a point. But then the other two characters, for some reason, are assassins. You have a full offense character and then a character with a teleport. Again, you have the ugly colors. You have this like earth tone, which clashes with the purple, which clashes with the orange, and then you have the blue too. And then you have him again with the clashing colors: orange. You have the wood. You have the bone, or the ugly dying green again. You have the dying green again. You have the bone color. And you have these like ugly, like, I don't know what the hell these pants are. Like bayou pants, I guess, or something. You have the ranger character, which is, I believe, weapons recoil reduction. Weapons range. You have a generic Spaniard character. With, for some reason, he has like an android beauty mark, and then a cybernetic eye, but the eye is human colored, so it doesn't actually sell you the illusion of. You have the ugly yellow, you have the ugly orange, you have an ugly orange, and it's all clashing. And then the rifle prop doesn't gel with the armor he's wearing. And then you have this old woman's gun, which looks like it's made of stamped steel, which is nothing else in the game's like that. And then you have using reflective gold paint on her eyes, on her ears, on her hands, which makes it look really unnatural. It reminds me of that GoldenEye scene from James Bond where the woman's covered in gold and then dies. It's a very, very creepy looking design choice. And it doesn't help that, old woman, it looks creepy anyway. And then for some reason, this character is named Jabali, which I believe is Spanish. Might have been a different Latin language. But I believe it's Spanish for hog or wild boar. His rifle, I believe, is slightly more damaging. And is patterned after the Lewis gun from World War One, which is a light machine gun. And then this is a submachine gun, and then this is an assault rifle. The Stay Puffed Man is also armed with an assault rifle, but it's non-bullpupped. They're essentially identical to this gun that the Spaniard holds. I do like the old style, like leather and steel look of the pistol. That's nice. But the everything in this game seems to be intentionally designed to mess with you, to make you feel uncomfortable. Again, you have, even with this design, which is a decent design, besides this like weird heart monitor thing that got strapped to them. The colors are all over the place. You have this like ugly yellow collar. You have this ugly orange. Everything is clashing. You could make this design work. You would just remove this heart monitor, and then you would just make the colors work together. You would work off of his hat, which looks cool, and then just make the outfit gel with the hat. The haunt buffs mobility. This character, I think, is entirely missed potential. It's rather sad. I think you could take Mass Effect 1 armor sets and just change the proportions of her character to make it more in line. She, for some reason, is an aerial assassin character that seems to be designed to just fire the rocket launcher endlessly. And then she has a ground pound. I bet you she does not have the durability to do that. And then you also have disconnect between the third-person hold of over-the-shoulder, a normal rocket launcher hold, to this, which is which is as low as the other weapons. I actually like the. This is actually one of the better weapon designs. You have clear sight picture. You have a nice recoil buffer. It's not over-designed. You don't have random detail crap anywhere. And then it's just a practical submachine gun design. But again, you have these horribly discordant visuals. You have this silver. You have the red. You have the purple. You have the yellow. You have the blue. You have the brown of her eyes. You have purple hair. It's going out of its way to be as clashing as possible. Nothing about these characters makes any damn sense. Like, you could have easily done just a purple red scheme for the character, and they chose to mess it up. They chose to add this tan. They chose to have these like goofy effing flaps everywhere. These goofy effing shoulder pads. There are ways to make certain color schemes work, and they chose not to do them. They chose to make it look horrible. Something about this game was intentionally designed to make you feel uncomfortable. Even down to, like, again, you have this ugly decaying color, and then you have the blood color. None of these colors match. None of these colors gel well. This is actually, I think, the worst offender for like disappointment for a class. So the Breacher is I believe, let's see, the Breacher is dodge. So they're intended to be a brawler class. So she, on the right, sets things on fire and fires a grenade launcher. I don't think the grenade launcher does enough damage from the screenshots I've seen. So she basically has a wrist grenade launcher and then a grenade launcher. And then you took a outfit from what looks like Aliens. I think Aliens actually affected this game quite a bit. Because this looks like something from Aliens too, just colored badly. They chose not to learn from anything, and then just made their own thing, and then made it badly. Like you have weird like chemical stains. You have a bone color, a green color, an orange, a green, another green. Again, just discordant colors. Going out of their way, you have weird unnatural hair colors again. It's a noisy, obnoxious, and then purple for some reason. It's a noise, and then again, pink again with the... it's a really, really annoying, obnoxious, in-your-face color design that seems to intentionally make you uncomfortable. This is actually a good gun design. I don't mind it. It's not a practical gun design, but it's a fun gun design. It sells you the illusion of the heavy weapon. The Spike, on the other hand, looks goofy. This is actually probably the best color design in the game. You have a muted blue that serves as a nice way to set up your red. And then everything else is a neutral brown with some neutral chrome here, and then on the grenades. Lovely color scheme. Really like this character design. probably the only good character design in the game, like a 6 or 7 out of 10. Her, I like the gun. I really, really like the gun. My only complaint is no sighting system. I think it would have been very easy just to simply have some sort of, like, I don't know, some sort of, like, sighting brick or something. You could have done a couple different ways. Something like that. Just to have your gun set up. Or they could have done where to have some sort of, like, HUD design to tell you the drop rates of your grenades. That would have also been nice. Or you could have done where you integrate that into the gun, and then you could have like a, I don't know, you could have like some sort of like grenade launcher sight. You could probably make that more artsy into like a curving one that like curves outward, and then do a gradiated sight. I think that would have been nice. This one does not have sighting system at all. Again, that's a huge problem. I realize it's a locking on rocket launcher, but like, would it kill you? To have even some sort of like remote sighting system at all. This sighting system also looks really, really doofy. The one that looks like a stamp steel, and then you've just got a random red dot on it. A lot of the guns do have more practical touches. It is nice to see that someone on the dev team cared. You have little like bolts, which is nice. In a lot of the products, your rivets. I do think that there was someone with some degree of practical knowledge about how to assemble things on the dev team. That's the only nice thing I can say, is that you've got little like, screw holes or various. Someone paid attention to like how things were built, right? You have little like holes that would have been used for different products. You have like an obvious screw hole here that's meant to secure the object. This is a good prop design. The colors aren't intentionally designed to yell at you. But again, they could have made it better. They could have matched the frame color with that. They chose instead of a cohesive color design, or if they wanted, they could have similarly done where you paint the whole slide that color, right? You're not committing to the bit. You're choosing a disharmonious color scheme that makes people uncomfortable, and then that made people uncomfortable and they didn't buy the game. So not only are you choosing character designs that aren't aspirational, that aren't pretty, right? This character does not look interesting. Stay Puft Marshmallow. No one wants to play a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. No one wants to play a diseased mushroom. Very few people are going to want to play a robot. Most people do not want to play a robot. They want to play a human. Most people do not want to play as a weird, rotund Nephilim in power armor. People do not want to play as a weird, diseased spaceman or someone with breadstick hair or whatever the heck this is. None of these... I mean, you could have made that work. No one wants to play as generic Call of Duty man if he does not have a cool gun. That's a mistake they made there. This gremlin thing has sleep paralysis demon look to me, and I find it distinctly unnerving. It's like Nightcrawler, but like creepier and not cool. This one I think could work. You just would need to recolor it, and then the helmet's the wrong scaling. I do quite like this design. This is nice. And then this design I do think could work. You would probably just change the hair to something more. You would unify the colors. You would unify the hair color. You would unify the armor color to try to like make that reel in the color palette into something more reasonable. I think would be your best bet. just pick a color and then start standardizing the color scheme onto it. Just basically fill in the color. For instance, is what I would do in order to fix the design. You would just start filling in a unifying color, right? Let's just pick blue. It's my favorite color. But you would just select, hey, we're going to take blue and then paint over the whole thing, right? And then you would standardize your blue color on the props, and then you would start. Maybe you could do a lighter whatever blue here, right? But I think that's just an easy way that this game caused huge problems, even if we're just throwing aside the weird industrial art design, which makes people feel uncomfortable. The weird people who all look sort of diseased because they've got these very, very deathly colors on them. None of these people look happy. None of them look like they want to be here. Or at least it's mercenaries, but it's a wish fulfillment. You could unify the color scheme and try to reel in some of these. Again, you've got this bone color. You've got too many colors that are trying to compete for the player's attention. On most of these characters, you get really ugly, rubbery colors on so many characters that don't need to be there, like the shoulder pads, whatever the heck this is. Like, you could have made her color scheme chrome. You would just chrome her outfit, and then you would make her hair color something that isn't going to clash with the chrome. Instead, you've got this sort of white noise, extreme white noise. This is tinnitus the game. There's white noise in the color. There's white noise in the art design. Everything is covered in white noise. And at some level, that is going to make your player feel uncomfortable.